Looking last Saturday, great win for our seniors. To go out undefeated at home this season's pretty special. Really pleased with how our team responded, and I know that I said that post game, and last week, everybody, the question was always how we're going to respond, how we're going to respond, how we're going to respond. And I thought we had a great week of practice, but it translated into what you wanted to see, which was a team that hit the field hungry, angry, ready to get out there and prove what we could do last Saturday. And so pleased with that. A lot of guys got an opportunity to play, played a whole bunch of players in the game, which is always really, really important and for experience. Getting guys all the reps and keeping everybody focused throughout the season. Obviously, this week changes everything with being a rivalry week. Last regular season game, for us, rivalry week game. You got to leave it all out there on the field. You kind of work year round for this type of game, and it'll be fun. I know we're going to be going into a hostile environment. Tough place to go play. I don't think they're big fans of mine up in that part of the state. So it should be a great challenge for us.
Questions?
Not just the team, but Dak obviously bounced back with a real good game, no turnovers. Was there, after looking at film, was there anything different that he was doing, or what did you think about his performance and how that bodes going forward?
I thought he played really well. I thought he managed things well. I didn't see anything different really than other weeks. He just he managed the game pretty well, and I think some of the things that were happening. We didn't take many shots really down the field. Where he's trying to go make a play down the field or give guys opportunities. We're able to really run the football and I think stuck with the running game a little bit more all night long. So obviously when that's going, when the running game's really rolling, that takes some pressure off the quarterback having to make plays.
Coach, with all the talk of this being maybe the most important Egg Bowl ever, people putting it in that context, what's your take on that? The importance of this game, maybe within the perspective of this rivalry with all of its history.
Boy, I don't know. Every one of these is as important as the other one. I view this is my 6th time playing in this game, and I view the other 5 are equally as important as this one, and equally as important as each other. I know this is the biggest game of the year. I know for us. This is one to me, just the records. None of that stuff ever really matters coming into this game. It's all about winning the game and getting bragging rights in the state for a year.
Coach, what has Christian Holmes meant to this team, not only in terms of versatility and doing different, playing different roles, but personality and leadership also?
Well, it helps. I think it's a great example. He sets a great example for younger players. As you look at what the college game's all about, the development. You came into the year, and last year he kind of was a very role player, offense, defense. He was in the top 15 in snaps played on our team last year because of special teams. And really for younger guys to look and understand that everyone's got a role on the team. Go embrace your role. Do your role to the best of your ability, and when you do that, you're going to have success. It's great for a lot of young players to come in thinking, hey, I just want to be the star wide receiver. I'm not worried about anything else but just want to be a star wide receiver. Really, to teach guys how to learn the game of football, learn their different roles on the team, learn how important every single role is, and they look at all the success he has, having been that he does his role to a very, very high level and performs at a high level and has a lot of success.
You came here in 2009. Obviously, the Egg Bowl was always important, but how did you go about changing the culture of the Egg Bowl and that rivalry, 5-1 in those games? Did you do anything differently? How did you try to embrace that rivalry?
That's all I did was embrace it. The rivalry games are so important. I've been fortunate enough, I guess, to be involved in some. I don't know that any of that are as big or as nasty as this. You could say. USC Notre Dame's a big one. Florida State or Florida Georgia. Utah, BYU, but they're not like this. You know, I think this is bigger than all of those rivalries because it is, you know, neighbor against neighbor. I mean, there's so much with this trophy and bragging rights that go on in this state about this game. And I think everybody in this state, you know, takes this game extremely seriously and takes the outcome of this game extremely seriously and holds on to that outcome for 365 days until it gets played again and you have another opportunity to grab those bragging rights for that year.
Ole Miss obviously has had one of the better defenses in the country this year. What makes it good, and how do you all have to counteract that and run your offense against it?
They play hard. They're a team that plays really hard. You know, they play a bunch of guys, so they play fast and rotate guys through. Very, very aggressive style. You know, I mean, you see, I mean, they'll be pressured almost 50% of the time plus. So very, very, very aggressive style with some. I mean, they're not maybe the biggest group defense we're going to play, but they're athletic, quick, fast, and they run the ball really well.
I know you take a lot of pride in being a disciplined football team, but 11 penalties on Saturday. How concerning was that this late in the year?
You know, is what it is. I mean, I think a year we're like at the top for, you know, first or second in the league for at least number of penalties. So.
How important was last year's Egg Bowl win as a kind of a table setter for what you've been able to accomplish this year, getting bowl eligible, getting extra bowl practices, and just getting a general good mood around here?
Huge, you know, more, all of that other stuff's great, just winning the game is the most important aspect. It was great that it got us bowl eligible, it got us some extra practices and all of that stuff, but winning the game is the biggest deal, you know, for us. I think that you look, my first year here, we won that game. It didn't even get us to a bowl game, but we won that, and to me it really catapulted us in the next season as well. So I think it is just so important to win that game and have this trophy in your possession and for your program and for just the university as a whole and all of our fan base and our alumni everywhere.
Yeah, Bo Wallace for them's had a couple of season in terms of turnovers and things like that. But just your evaluation of him and the season I think he's had so far.
Well, you know, you look, last week's, it's hard to judge, you know, I think one of the things that dangers you get yourself into is judge last week's game as having any relevance towards this week. I think they turned it over 6 times last week, and you know, that's not going to happen. And so it'll be a very, very different team we face. And, you know, and you look at what he's done as a quarterback. He makes plays, you know, in that way. And you look at the style he plays and a very, very dangerous player. And he's going to take some chances out there on the field. And when you do that, he's not afraid to. He's not afraid to try to throw some balls in some tight windows. You know, and you're going to make a lot of big plays doing that. Now, there's the risk reward that comes with it, and you know, and you know, there's some that aren't going to go his way. But the fact that, you know, as a quarterback, as a guy, he has the confidence to go make those plays and try to make those plays, whether it does or not, makes him a really dangerous player out there on the field, and a guy that can, you know, get hot and beat you in a hurry.
This week, Egg Bowl week, obviously, as a coach, how does the community, alums, former players, how does that outreach change this week?
Well, you know, it is such a big deal to everybody. We're always in lockdown mode in here, so I don't get to see much of it outside of this building because, you know, we're here.
Do you get more emails, texts, though, that type of stuff from, you know?
No,
okay.
You know, I mean, I'll get some here and there. I think everybody. I used to. They know I think they know I understand it's a big game. So they know I don't need any reminders. They know I know it's a pretty big game. So I don't get all those. I think early when I first got here, I would get some people, hey, you know this is a big game. I said, I got you. I know. But you know, for us, because this week, you know, the schedule changes with it being Thanksgiving. We let our guys go home for Thanksgiving. You know, to be able to spend time with family, so we kind of, with school finishing up on Tuesday, we kind of tweak our schedule around, so we end up being in here a lot more early in the week. The coaches do, so you don't really get out all that much. So that we get all work done, so guys can go have Thanksgiving with their families.
Nick, could you talk about the tight end position and how the job that Scott's done at that position for you guys?
Yeah, they've done a good job. You know, I mean, Malcolm Johnson's such a, it's a tough position for us. That he plays, and we ask him to do so much. He's done a good job getting those guys ready, because I think offensively, maybe besides quarterback, it's the position we ask to do the most on our team is that tight end spot. Because they're playing tight end, they're playing fullback, they're playing wide receiver. They're asked to do more than everybody else out there on the field. So he's done a good job with those guys and making sure guys are ready to go play and in position to make plays, and find ways to create mismatches that those guys create on the field.
When you look at success at Mississippi State, how does the Egg Bowl contribute to that conversation?
I think it's huge because, around here, that's who you're around is in this state. I think our fans look at it as, when they go to the grocery store, they're seeing School of North people. When they go to the country club, they're seeing those people. When they're out at church, they're seeing those people. And, so I think, I don't know how many different academic competitions we do or other things, but, this is Mississippi. This football is really, really important here. So, I think that's what people kind of judge the two schools on a lot is this game. So it is, that's what makes it important for all of our people.
Coach, the recent experience of going on the road in the SEC to a good team, taking a couple of quarters to get going offensively and that type of thing, does that recent remembrance of that maybe aid in getting ready and players getting ready to do it again here this week?
I think in the deal, you look at road games are kind of, for us, we're spread out a little bit this year. We only had, I think, the one time we had consecutive road games throughout the year. So, it doesn't hurt. Only been a couple weeks ago of just the preparation of getting ready to be on the road. We stay at our home hotel, though, still here on Friday night, and we'll bus up there on Saturday. So I think, that part of it, just in that preparation is, but, besides just the preparation of being on the road, you move the speakers from the defensive field to the offensive field to practice, and, you're going to have to get used to using silent cadences and all that stuff. But, besides that, our preparation stays pretty much the same.
Coach, that was kind of the question I had. Does your routine stay the same this week, or do you do anything different because it is a rivalry?
Well, we do, the overall routine, the structure kind of outline stays the same, but a little bit of the specifics change in what we do, a little more intense week of practice. Obviously with no school, with school being out after Tuesday, the schedule changes a little bit just because our guys have all day. We can space some things out, lifting times out, and some of that stuff to get that done. And because it's Thanksgiving, we want guys to get home, it changes just a little bit. But, I think our guys know that, and it makes this game feel different. Even with the smaller changes in the schedule, it just makes this game feel different. Which is really what we want is all of our guys to feel that this game's a different game than all the rest of them.
How was De'Vonnie Wilson doing after not playing Saturday?
Good. He was cleared to play Saturday, but he didn't practice much during the week. He practiced a little bit Wednesday, practiced all of Thursday's practice, and did the walkthrough Friday, and the doctors cleared him. And but by having not practiced all that much, we wanted to see how the flow of the game was going, and if he didn't have to play, we weren't going to play him. By everybody else staying healthy at the position throughout the game, we didn't have to go to call to get him in there. So I think he was ready to go yesterday at the meeting. He's all fired up, ready to go play, because I think he was ready to play Saturday. When he didn't play, I think he got a little extra juice built up, and I'm ready to go play this week.
What was he held out for? What was hurting him, or?
I don't talk about the injuries.
Coach, last week a lot of seniors, especially Caleb Ewell, said he wished everybody could see the sense of urgency that was at practice last week. Is that the same type that you expect from those guys this week? You know, you're not bouncing back from a loss as you were last week, but still being ignored.
Well, I think so because of the game. You know, I think that sense of urgency was our guys. The older guys, as I said, there was great leadership in practice and how they structure things and how they got everybody going, and obviously it translated very, very well onto the field. I think, you know, a lot of our older guys, they understand the sense of urgency you have to have in this game. I mean, of what a big game it is for both sides, and you know, kind of how personal a game it is for everybody on both rosters. That you know, our older guys will make sure we have that urgency of practice and that intensity of practice all week.
We good?
Anything else?